to where Evangelos has gone.
He just stepped out for a second.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? In fact, you tell me, where is the future of mobile social media going?
Well, I don't know about the future of social media, but I disagree with you on the fluency issue. Because at my university, one of the things that I do is for undergraduates, I teach a writing intensive course. And their writing is the kind of writing they do there. And they have, the thoughts are not developed, their sentences are not developed, they don't have complete sentences, and they consider that to be good writing. And so it is influencing their fluency. And it's influencing it now, and these are not necessarily the heavy users.
Yes, I mean, all research would point to that conclusion. But I'm trying to take a more positive approach. And rather than saying that, because every generation has always said, or lamented at the new generation saying, well, look at the decline in standards. But I feel it's, in one sense, it's an encouraging medium that encourages dialogue and conversation. But once, you could kind of blame it down to schooling and say, well, wasn't it the school's responsibility to teach them good grammar, to teach them the rules of, literacy? It's not necessarily the fault of the social media tools.
Well, I'm not saying anything's at fault yet, but I am saying that it is reflective, that it is impacting their fluency in language.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I would agree with you. I mean, I do find it very annoying when students write in text speech in their assignments. I think that is unacceptable. Yes?
I have to agree with Dr. Benton. I have a 14-year-old niece, and she can't talk to people on the spot. It's like she needs a keyboard and the backspace key to get out what she's trying to say. She has no interpersonal skills with me. She looks at her parents for everything. She doesn't have control over her life really. And I also think that social media and where it's heading is putting a lot more power in the consumer's hands, because we're telling companies what we like, what we don't like, and there's a huge backlash in their online reputation when something happens that we don't agree with. I mean, it's instantaneous. Within 30 minutes, there's blogs that have been written, articles, tweets. It's amazing how fast you have to react now.
Oh no, absolutely. That's why more and more organisations are taking a more proactive approach to social media. It's becoming a much more prominent role in marketing of organisations, whereas previously it was kind of more like a distant cousin that wasn't sort of relegated to the back room. Oh yes.
I was just trying to understand stalking when you're talking about stalking. If you take from the beginning Facebook, isn't that the reason that you have Facebook? Isn't that the reason that you want to have these things so you can see and you can check the other people's profiles? Okay, I'm not talking about stalking of the real sick. I mean, every moment I'm there and watching your profile. But isn't that kind of natural? I mean, everyone's talking about stalking, but is it a natural thing?
I think previously it was sort of not done so actively. We asked the students, and the respondents, why do you stalk? And
maybe it's the wrong word, stalking, because it's not really stalking. It's just I might just go somewhere and just check profiles. Doesn't mean necessarily.
Stalking means that you can actually view the profile of somebody else without them realizing that
Yeah, but that's the whole point of.
No, not necessarily. I think the whole point of social media was Facebook was to get people to connect together, to create kind of
yeah, but
more connection.
if we say we're not connected, if we're not friends, then obviously I'm not allowed to see your profile. It's like restriction you have. So from the point we are friends, let's say, then why am I called a stalker if I'm just?
I think this is one of the reasons that there was such a controversy about privacy issues on you can actually now block people who stalk you. There is actually a de-stalker option now, which I found out yesterday, and so I activated that immediately. And one of the reasons, we actually went out and we did interviews with the respondents, and we found out, well, why do you stalk? They said, well, we stalk our partners because we're so frightened that they're actually going to meet somebody else. And is that the fault of social media, or is that the insecurities of individuals?